Hey guys, apologies for this video coming out really late. I've been busy with client work lately and haven't had time to actually sit down and focus on my YouTube channel. So that's why there have not been any videos out lately. But I should be back on track now, and hopefully there's going to be some more videos coming out for you guys real soon. But anyway, you did not come here to listen to this, so let's get on with the video. I, like many other people, have spent a lot of time on the internet watching countless videos and reading lots of reviews on new gear. Now that I think about it, I've probably spent too much time doing this, but I know I'm not the only person who has. For many, it can be really easy to fall into the cycle of always looking towards the next big thing. The constant draw of bigger, better, fancier equipment is something I'm sure a lot of us deal with. We often think, if I could only have this thing, then I could do this other thing. And while yes, sometimes better gear can make our lives easier, or even enhance the stuff we're already doing, it's not essential or even entirely necessary. We shouldn't let acquiring the next item distract us or even derail us from learning and improving. Basically, don't let not having something stop you from doing anything. One thing that I think it's important to point out is that having expensive gear doesn't necessarily make one a better filmmaker. You could have the most expensive high-end cinema camera out there with all of the fanciest gear that goes with it, but unless you have a firm grasp on the basics, it's all useless. The little things like camera angles, camera movement, composition, lighting, the performance from your actors, they all end up having the biggest effect on your film rather than what you used to make it. Now I should also say that I'm not discouraging anyone from upgrading their gear, because upgrading and moving on to newer or better gear is just part of growing your skills. What I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't let your gear determine whether or not you're actually going to do something. Don't let your lack of something stop you from learning and growing your skills. Don't hold off on making a video just because you don't have the ideal equipment. No, go out and make that video and practice your skills and improve. Because as you improve, you may not have all that fancy gear you were dreaming about, but you do have the experience, and that is going to take you a long way. But when should you upgrade your equipment? When is the right time to move on to the next thing? Obviously, this is a case-to-case issue. The right time to upgrade for me might not be the same for you. But I can tell you my thought process that I use for figuring out when the right time to upgrade is. Basically, for me, the right time to upgrade comes when you outgrow your equipment. For example, back in 2016, I was still shooting on my Sony Handycam. I'd made a ton of short films with this little camera, and during that time I began to learn the process of how films actually get made. And I eventually realized if I were going to continue to make movies and get more serious about it, I would need to have better control over my camera. So in late 2016, I saved up and bought my Canon T5i, which I've been using ever since. In my case, I started to become limited by my lack of control over my camera, so the solution was to upgrade to a camera that would give me the control I needed to continue on learning and improving. Once you begin to feel held back by your gear, or you notice that it's stopping you from moving on and improving, then it might be worthwhile to consider an upgrade. Maybe you have some cheap lights that you've been using for a while, but now you're wanting to move on and experiment with some more complicated lighting. That's the point where you might step back and say, these lights have been working for a while, but now I think I'm ready for something better, and you would move on from there. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say with this video is that wanting to move on to something new or to upgrade your equipment isn't a bad thing. In fact, you should want to invest back into yourself and improve the quality of your projects. But when your quest for new gear gets in the way of you actually learning and improving, that's when it becomes a bad thing. In short, keep making videos with the things you already have, but when it's time to move on, don't be afraid to do so. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. Until next time, you've been watching The All Around Filmmaker, and I will see you in the next one.